My guest today on the phone have won 2 times the Stanley Cup with the Philadelphia Flyers and have been named 2 times the winner of Conn Smythe Trophy and Vizina Trophy. His number have been retired by the Flyers in 1979. He has been introduced in the Hockey Hall of Fame in 1984. He is also a Hall of Famer of Philadelphia City Best Sportsman. Please welcome the former number 1, Bernard Parent. Hi, Bernie. How are you?
Good. Thank you. This is, I could listen to you all day, man. Thank you so much. You'd be so kind, and it's a pleasure to be with you. Thank you.
The pleasure is for me. First, how did the hockey came in your life?
Well, I was a little kid living in Montreal, in east part of Montreal, Rosemont, and I used to watch Montreal Canadiens all the time. And, of course, my idol was Jacques Plante, who played for Montreal for so many years. Great goalie. And I always, in those days, the ice remained in the street the whole winter, And I always played goal, and that was a challenge for me. The challenge is, even as a young kid, when I look back, for me to anticipate where the shooters would go and to make the save. I would say that was always within me. Yeah.
Everybody said that the goaltender is the weirdest guy in the locker room. Are you okay with this statement at first? And if you are, what is strange about you?
Well, you know what? You have to remember, as a goaltender, it's a very difficult position, I should say, because you make a mistake, it's a goal. The red light goes on. A forward could make a mistake, defenseman pick them up. Defenseman could make a mistake, the goalie picks them up. But if you make a mistake as a goalie, the result is a goal. So you have to you really have to concentrate on your game, and it may sound strange once in a while, but if you're not disciplined and just concentrate on your game, then you're going to have problems. So this is why goalies are that way a little bit, because of the constant awareness of the game, where the puck is, and where your players are. So it's very, very important. Yeah.
I want to hear you about your beginning in the National Hockey League. How hard it is to be a part of the biggest hockey league on the planet?
Well, it's when I played again, my vision was always to play in the National Hockey League. And remember, my first game was with the Boston Bruins in 1965. And that game was in Chicago, and against Nikita, Bobby Hall, and all those guys, those greats. And you're talking about some excitement. I was 19 years old, 19, 20. And then to be in playing hockey in front of 22,000 people, you can imagine the excitement that went through my body and my mind, at the same time. So that was, my first game in the National Hockey League, and that was a very exciting one, because we tied the game 2-2, as a matter of fact.
How can you explain your success, Bernie?
Well, success is, I think that what changed in my career was when I got traded from Philadelphia to Toronto, and then I had a chance to play on the same team as Jacques Plante. And I think Plante was 43 years old at the time, 44, and was still studying the duties. And I watched him play, and he was so good, And then I asked him if he could teach me, and of course he did, and that's what changes my whole career. Yeah.
You're a member of the Bull Street Bullies. the Philadelphia Flyers, who teach a new kind of hockey with violence and one with this style. Are you proud of the hockey the Flyers did when you won? When you look at this now, with all this change you have in the hockey, are you proud of your time with the Flyers?
Oh, definitely. They, Phil Esposito said it rightly at one time. They asked him about the Flyers, and we did have a tough team, very tough team. But Phil Esposito said it right. He said, "You don't win Stanley Cup just with the tough teams." He said the Flyers had some good players on that team, and we did have good players. We had to me, one of the great leader in the league, in Bob Clark. Fred Sherrow, the coach, and Keith Allen did put a beautiful team together, and because you don't win with one individual. When you win the championship like this, 2 Stanley Cups, you win this as a team, and that's the only way. You have to remember this, that it's a team effort, not individual effort. Yep.
Who was your best teammate with the Flyers? This is Bobby Clark, or who?
Well, Clark was a fantastic individual. He didn't have you make all the talent of Jean Beliveau and guys like that, but his determination and people should look back and pay attention what Clark did. He was, don't misunderstand me, he was a great player, but at the same time, his determination and desire overcame what he didn't have as far as Beliveau and those guys, Gordie Howe and those guys, and that made up for. And it's a good lesson to learn in life, that if you don't have all the pieces, if you're determined and you have the desire to succeed, you will succeed.
You end up your career at the age of 34 because of an eye injury. How was that to retire sooner than you expected?
Well, when you look back, at the time, it was a shock, of course, because as a goalie, if you, especially in those days, played a stand-up style, you could play a lot longer than 34. But, today I look back, I'm very grateful. I had a chance to play in the league for 15 years. It's a long time, 15 years. And I'm very, when I look back, I'm very, very grateful I was able to play the game that I love so much for 15 years.
From your point of view, without this injury, how do you think your career would have been like?
Well, one only can dream of what could have happened. We in Philly, we had they had a good team for quite a few years, so I can only imagine that it would have been awesome. But I'm very, very happy with what happened in my career for 15 years. Yep.
Like I said before, you won 2 Stanley Cups, 2 Conn Smythe Trophy, and 2 Vizina Trophy. Which one are you the most proud, and why?
Well, of course, the first one, against the Boston Bruins. And I shared this with you because the odds were tremendous against us. We were an extension team, only 7 years in the league. And we played the Boston Bruins, where they had the Esposito, Orr, and all those guys. They had a tremendous team, and the odds were tremendous against us. But we overcame those odds, and we won the championship. And then the second one was, let me explain something to you. the first Stanley Cup was at home. And when we went back in the dressing room with the Stanley Cup, we must have had about 100 people in the dressing room. And it was great. Everybody was celebrating. But really that moment was the Stanley Cup itself. So you didn't really have that a chance to really spend as much time as we should have, because there were a lot of people with the Stanley Cup. Now, the second year when we won at Buffalo, it was different. On the road, we celebrated a little bit in the dressing room. Then we flew back on a charter back to Philly. And think about this, they put the Stanley Cup middle of the aisle of the plane. And all the players stayed quiet for about a half hour and just admired that beautiful trophy. What a beautiful time that was.
Now let's talk about the other face of Bernie Parent. Life gave some issues to his best warrior. How did you manage to go through your alcohol problems and your divorce?
Okay, well, you know what? Things do happen in life, and then you move on. You know, you do some different directions. You know what? And sometimes it doesn't work out. You know, the life is short, and you know, it doesn't work out the way, you know, you would like to work out. But having said that, you move on. But having said that, it's very, very important to me that, you know, an individual, for me anyway, that you know, I believe that should never turn your back on your family. You know, your ex, your kids, your family, and it will always be my responsibility to make sure that everybody's living a good life.
What it is about the alcohol problems?
Yeah. It's been I am an alcoholic, and but the good news is I've been sober for 38 years. So
wow.
It's a beautiful thing. I'm very, very grateful for that. Yeah.
Just to finish this interview, now I want to talk about the fact that you wrote 2 books and you give conference. What are you talking about in your conference, and what are you wishing people learn or remember about them?
Well, you know what? I think in the book, you know, the one book really I wrote is the title is My Journey Through Risk and Fear. And I'm a firm believer. What I did really is just share my story throughout my career. You know, the risk I had to take, you know, to move forward in life. And that's what I wrote. I see so many people are struggling in life. They're struggling because many times they want to take the risk, but fear comes in. And when fear comes in, they back away and they miss out on great opportunities. So the book was mostly on take the risk, face the fear, and beautiful things will happen in your life. Yeah.
I want another question, a bonus question. Are you ready?
Yeah. Go ahead, shoot.
You had the chance to play in the alumni game in Winter Classic with the Flyers. How was the experience? I saw it, and when I saw the game, I said, "Wow, this person, Bernie Parent, looks like a kid now with his uniform."
Yeah. That was a great experience. I'm glad I did it, and at that time, and my God, I was 67 years old, and you know what? I was scared at the beginning, you know, because we played an outdoor rink in the baseball field in Philly, so we had like 50,000 people, and again, you know, you want to perform well, you want to do well, and we ended up. I only played 5 minutes. That was my goal, you know, and played in front of a crowd because remember when I got hit in the eye, that was the last time I performed. You know, I walked off the ice, last time I performed in front of the crowd in Philly. And here we were, many years later, had a chance to perform again in front of 50,000 people. I was scared, but at the same time, as I said before, the excitement that I built up inside of me was just incredible. And you only get excited like this, it's when you take action, you know. Dreaming about something is great, but if you don't take action, you're not going to accomplish anything. And I'm very, very grateful that I took that risk and turned out real good. Thanks.
Bernard Parent, thank you very much for your time. You're such an inspiration person, and thanks for all that.
Thank you, my friend. Have a good day yourself. Take care.
You too. Bye.
Bye.